Hi there, Malcolm here with my 232nd Booktube video, and today I'm bringing you...
Draw my like a big pizza pie and some more.
Just alone, please. Honestly, I've had that song in my head for the last week and a bit. Ever since I've seen this title, I get...
a big pizza pie and some more.
Thank you. And that's all I get, just that one over.
A big pizza pie and some more.
Yes, we've got the point. Now leave me alone.
It's a living hell.
Right, When the Moon Hits Your Eye by John Scalzi. This is his brand new novel, and having become a fast fan of his, I had to pick it up. So I did. And this one explores what would happen if the moon, which has always been said to be made of cheese, actually turned into cheese. Actually, the first opening chapter, a bunch of moon samples at NASA are suddenly lumps of cheese. NASA never admits that it's cheese, it's always an organic matrix. And as such, John's gone through a considerable length of thought in terms of determining just what would happen if the moon was actually made of cheese. And in this case, suddenly and inexplicably. Now, very kindly, he's kept the mass the same, and so it's not going to affect the various tides around the world. However, it is brighter in the sky, because cheese has a greater albedo than rock. But also, cheese isn't the best of materials to make into a celestial object. But how rock is unstable enough as it is, what with volcanoes, earthquakes and all the rest of it. And so this massive cheese undergoes various gravitational stresses, which have repercussions. And this is really more of a story of humanity in general, particularly of the USA. And we don't really get much globally, but it does give a snapshot of a bit of humanity. But then it is an American author who's going to write what he knows. So there's no ongoing plot particularly. And the story is broken down by each day. For day one, it happens, and we have that point of view from the people who are witnessing this at NASA. And then day two, we jump elsewhere, and we have their opinions and points of view. People are still wondering what's going on. Is it really cheese? What's happened? And then the acceptance, and then the various things that are happening because the moon is now made of cheese, and the result of that. I won't give away spoilers, but there's quite a few things going on here. We do very occasionally jump back to a character we've had before, or another character refers to them and interacts with them because we've got their point of view this time. But told over the duration of a lunar cycle, so that's 28 days, plus a couple of bonus ones afterwards. And just looking at how businesses could react, or people who are religious might react. You know, new relationships, old relationships, people being people and having their standard interactions, but in the backdrop, the moon happens to be cheese. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. There were some obviously overhanging questions that ran through the entire book. You know, how did it happen? Why is the moon made of cheese? And what type of cheese is it? Which I love the fact is generally people's first question. Not when you find out that the moon is now made of cheese, your first question is, well, what type of cheese? And so really funny, really poignant. It's had quite a number of laugh out loud moments for me. And a real fun conceptual what if. Like I said, it's not really a story in the traditional sense because of the nature of jumping from character to character without any real return or plot development in that regard. Unless you view humanity as a whole as the main character. Or at least those populating the United States of America. I dare say that in other parts of the world the reactions might be slightly different or whatever, but that's not really addressed in here, and I think it would take an unnecessary length of time to do so. I'm short and silly, quite a fun palate cleanser, while at the same time poking fun at multi-billionaire space entrepreneurs. And the one in here does get a character arc, and it's a very satisfactory one at that. Oh, well, not really much more I can say about this. There were no particular highlights, apart from the fact the whole lot was highlights. I do love the interactions between the characters. There's some really good dialogue in here, as well as some cracking lines. I'm going to misquote them because I can't remember them exactly, but things like death by cheese enema and the cheese flambe apocalypse. I'll also mention there are a couple of chapters of the aftermath, which was shockingly depressing in their accuracy, I think. Unlike with everything else by John Scalzi, I would say this is booktastic. Highly recommended read. Really, really enjoyable. So have you read When the Moon Hits Your Eye? Are you forever plagued by a certain song of the similar title? Or have you read any other John Scalzi books? In his afterword, he mentions that this is the third of his trilogy, or what he calls a very loose conceptual trilogy of novels. The other two being The Kaiju Preservation Society and Start a Villain, which I've also read and really enjoyed. I mean, Kaiju, absolutely fantastic. Go read that one if you haven't already. Yeah, so comments down below, please. As usual, if you have nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all the other YouTubey things if you want. And until next time, see you later.
Fa la 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 la.
Shut up!